Hey guys, what's up? My name is Kay Hart and I have an Ableton Live tutorial for you guys today. 5 tips guaranteed to make your chorus hit harder. So let me show you guys what we're going to be working with today. You can take your chorus from something that sounds like this to something that sounds like this. As always, if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button, subscribe button, bell button, whatever buttons are down there, please just hit them. Your life will be better for it, I promise, because I have more videos like this coming up. And if you want to see what this beat sounds like with some vocal samples added, stay tuned because I will put that at the end. So let's get right into the tutorial. Alright, tip number 1 is a really easy way to make your chorus hit harder without doing much work, and that's actually raising the volume of your chorus compared to the rest of your song. So it doesn't need to be much, it can be just like 1 decibel or maybe even a half a decibel. The only thing you need to make sure is that when your song is playing, you need to keep an eye on your master track, which is down here, right where my face is. So let me scoot out of the way. And right here, just make sure you're not going into the red or you're clipping when you raise your volume. Easy. Alright, tip number 2 is using transitions and fills to create some more tension and build up right before your chorus hits and when it hits. So if you guys look at my track over here, I have kind of this empty bar of space between my bridge and my chorus. And what I've added down here are a couple transitions and a drum fill to kind of build the tension before that final chorus hits. So this first one I have here is just a white noise riser. So by itself it sounds like that, and I have absolutely, I can talk, absolutely no reverb on it, because basically I wanted it to build and build and then just kind of die when my drum fill hits. So it builds into this drum fill. Just kind of like an 80s style, some tom hits. And then that leads into this downward riser, which I guess if it's downward, it's not really a riser anymore, is it? Deep questions. But basically this is the same riser that I've reversed now, and I added a ton of reverb to this because I wanted it to really fill up the space when the chorus hits. So this is what it sounds like by itself. So just really, really airy, just taking up a lot of space. And so when you put it all together with the track, it sounds like this. Alright, tip number 3 is adjusting your filter cutoffs. So a really cool trick to do is to put maybe an auto filter or even just a regular EQ on your track and changing the frequency of your cutoff. So if you put a high pass on it and make it a lower frequency cutoff versus a higher frequency cutoff, your instrument is going to have a really different sound and a really different mood. So I've done this to a couple of my instruments in this track. So I did it for this kind of lead that I have that runs toward the beginning of the track. So if I just solo this, and I'll show you guys what I'm working with here. So I've automated just an auto filter with the frequency and the resonance. So this is what it sounds like toward the beginning of the track. Just kind of dark, mysterious, because I have the frequency down here. And then if we go to the last chorus, it's a lot brighter, a lot more in your face. And I've also done that with my bass track. So as you can see here, I have 3 stacks of bass that I have in this song. And so this is what it starts with. And these two tracks are the exact same bass. I've just changed the filter on them. So let me play for you guys what it sounds like at the beginning of the song. And if you guys look here, I've actually taken this from a Super 8, and this is what I'm going to be changing, is this filter. Now if you listen to it over here, it just makes the bass a lot more aggressive, just kind of more in your face. So changing that just really changes the vibe of the song. Tip 5 is layering your instruments or your vocals. So for this, I've layered a few of my instruments. So the first one up here, I have my chords. So if we listen, I have just one set of chords in the beginning. And then later on in the track, I actually end up, for this last chorus, putting 2 more instances of the same chords with different instruments. So you could do that a couple ways. You could do it like this, where you actually just duplicate the layers and change what instrument you're using. I would suggest usually not using something that sounds exactly the same, because you're going to get some frequency masking issues. So you want to pick things that maybe add a little something different. So if something is more on the high end of the spectrum, maybe add something that's a little bit lower. So you heard what my first set of chords sounds like. So this is the second stack that I added. And this one actually adds a little bit of a percussive element to it, which I really liked in this last chorus to kind of just give it that forward motion. And then I've added this last one by itself. Just a little more on the high end, just kind of a little bit of shimmer. And then I panned both of these hard left and hard right, and I've kept my main chords in the center. So all together, it sounds like this. Which definitely sounds a lot fuller than just that. The other instrument that I layered is my bass. So, like I said, this is my original bass that I just changed the filter on. We just went over that one. And so this is a totally different bass that I added, another Serum one. And so this is what it sounds like by itself. Very, very aggressive, very just kind of a plucky bass sound. I really just wanted something to add a little more attack and punch when that bass comes in, so it doesn't get swallowed by everything else in the mix. So you can definitely tell the difference if you listen to just this one. And then you add this on top. It really just gives it that extra punch to just make it through and cut through the mix. Alright, and my last tip to make your chorus hit harder is to add a little bit of ear candy, because who doesn't like candy, especially in their ears? That was a really bad joke. But anyway, so for this one I've added just like a little retro crash sound. So this is what it sounds like by itself. Kind of a cool little percussive hit. And that's what I usually like to add, especially in my choruses, is something percussive. Usually because I don't want to add a whole bunch of other sounds and, melodic elements. Usually because there's already a bunch of stuff going on. So percussion, some extra crashes, snaps, shakers, anything like that is usually a pretty, at least in my opinion, a safe thing to add, to just add a little bit extra to your track.
If I tell you something, I can live without you, but I always say that I don't want to, 'cause I'm really stuck all about you. I deny it, but I really like